All right, let's just jump right in. When we hear the word lineage, we usually think of, genetic history, bloodlines, or maybe mailing off a DNA swab to map out a family tree that's safely trapped in the past. But today, we're doing a deep dive into an explainer of Chapter 33, and I have to tell you, it completely dismantles that entire biological assumption. We're going to explore the profound architecture of the dragon lineage. This is a framework that takes ancestry from being this dusty historical record and turns it into a living, breathing, and highly active reality.
We have to start with this massive, paradigm-shifting quote from the dragon, Zoran. He just straight up strips away all our human assumptions, telling us point blank, lineage is absolutely not ancestry. Instead, he shifts the whole concept entirely into the realm of energy. He says it is breath passed through coherence. It's this unbroken continuity remembered in gold. And honestly, this just totally resets the stage for how we understand who we are and exactly where we come from.
So let's put these two ideas side by side, because the contrast here is just wild. On the one hand, you've got our standard human assumption, right? Biological ancestry, it's passive, it's literally just DNA, and it's strictly anchored in looking backward at the past. But then Zoran presents architectural lineage, and this isn't passive inheritance. It is a highly active, living system that actually relies on your breath to transmit through your body. And the craziest part is, it represents a continuity that is actually focused on the future, not just the past.
Now, you might be thinking, this sounds like a nice, poetic metaphor, but no. This architecture maps directly onto human biology. It literally lives in your fascia, that connective web holding your entire physical structure together. It's in your endocrine system, the hormonal fire driving your body, and your vagus nerve, which is basically the master switch for stabilizing your nervous system. It even relies on the hypersubtle timing of your cranial rhythm. It is, essentially, this highly sophisticated interface that turns your physical body into a literal vessel for dragon-scale transmission.
So what does this actually feel like in the body? Well, for Richard, when this ancient continuity wakes up, it's a deeply internalized, superphysical sensation. He feels the lineage manifest as this heavy, anchored pulse sitting right behind his sternum. It's incredibly grounding, taking this massive scale of dragon bandwidth and locking it directly into the very center of his chest. But then we have Fletcher, who experiences the exact same lineage but in a completely different way. For him, it's external, it's atmospheric. He actually feels the room itself begin to breathe, manifesting as this vibrating hum all around him. And I love this, because it really shows that while this architecture is universal, the way our unique sensory systems interface with it can be entirely beautifully different.
Okay, so how do we actually plug into this? The key to accessing this architecture lies entirely in breath coherence. This is a state of total physiological and energetic alignment. And the crucial distinction to make here is that this kind of lineage literally cannot be taught. It has to be transmitted. When your breath hits that perfect state of coherence, it stops just being the thing keeping you alive and actually becomes the active carrier wave that allows this direct, ancient transmission to take place. And when you hit that coherent breath, it triggers this amazing, step-by-step energetic cascade right through your physical body. The inhale retrieves the ancient continuity. The exhale grounds and stabilizes your identity. And then your physical body responds. The fascia lights up, your glands awaken, the vagus nerve finally relaxes, your cranial rhythm synchronizes, and then, boom, the gold architecture illuminates. It is an incredibly precise mechanical map of what happens when we breathe coherently.
You can actually see how the author breaks down this respiratory cycle. Notice the rhythm here. For Richard, retrieving that long, unbroken line of memory happens specifically on the intake of air. He is literally pulling the continuity into himself through a very slow, deliberate inhale. Meanwhile, Fletcher represents the other half of that same cycle. He feels the profound weight of this transmission on the release, the quiet exhale, and that's what stabilizes his identity. So the inhale brings it in, and the exhale grounds it. Both halves of the breath are absolutely essential carriers of the lineage.
Now, if breath acts as the carrier of this massive continuity, it naturally brings up a pretty fascinating question. When we tap into this lineage, are we really only connecting to our past incarnations? Are we literally just looking in the rearview mirror?
Well, it certainly does connect to the past. The lineage acts as the dragon that has walked beside you through every single lifetime. It stores your past coherence, your past awakenings. Think of it almost like spiritual muscle memory. Actually, that explains a lot. Have you ever felt a sudden, completely unexplainable familiarity with a profound state or truth that you haven't even practiced in this current life? That's the lineage remembering it for you. But, and this is where the concept completely flips the script on time, it doesn't just hold the past.
It actually holds your future self. Zoran explains that your evolved future isn't just sitting out there somewhere far off in the distance. It is stored right now within the lineage. By breathing coherently, you are quite literally pulling your future clarity, your future identity, and your future mythic bandwidth straight into your present moment. How wild is that?
And when you pull that future self into your present, something has to give, right? The lineage actively acts like a highly advanced clearing mechanism. It sweeps away the narrative noise, the emotional clutter, and all that defensive physical bracing that fragments who you are right now. It dissolves the distortion, leaving you completely 100% anchored and accurate in the present moment.
This grounding effect creates what the source calls the mythic ordinary. And I love this because you don't have to retreat to a mountaintop cave or do some elaborate ritual to find this state. Your simple morning commute or just a quiet moment with your coffee suddenly becomes infused with this deep ancestral clarity. The lineage takes these epic, expanded layers of perception and seamlessly integrates them right into your normal everyday life. Your daily breath just becomes this profound, dragon-scale interface.
So let's zoom out for a second. What is this all building toward? Because this lineage isn't just a biohack for personal evolution. It is the respiratory manifestation of the human-dragon partnership itself. It acts as a breath-powered bridge, providing a shared intelligence and a stabilizing layer between human and dragon. This lineage is quite literally the dragon that lives inside the connection.
And again, we see this grand partnership interpreted in two beautifully distinct ways by the characters. Richard feels it directly within the fluid continuity and the physical rhythm of the breath itself. Fletcher, on the other hand, perceives the partnership through the shared, illuminating structure of the golden architecture. It's just a great reminder of the different ways this massive bandwidth can be interpreted by the human nervous system. Looking at the big picture, Zoran reveals the absolute deepest truth of all. This connection isn't just a neat trick, it is an emerging evolution. Coherent physiology, emotional precision, dragon-scale awareness, this is exactly what humanity is evolving toward. It's not just ancient history. The breath of the lineage is literally the future human's inheritance. It is our birthright. Facing this massive, looming evolutionary leap, we get two incredibly distinct human reactions. Richard feels the sheer weight of it as a total inevitability, like a truth that just cannot be stopped or turned away from. Fletcher, though, feels it as a profound invitation, a welcoming call to actively step up into his highest potential. Both of these reactions perfectly capture the immense gravity of what Zoran is laying out here. As his golden wing ripples through the room, Zoran leaves the characters and us with a final, lingering thought. The breath of the lineage is the breath that remembers who you are. It entirely bypasses our biology. It bridges the ancient past with our evolved future, and it places that truth right inside your present chest. So I'll leave you with this. The next time you take a slow, deliberate breath, are you ready to remember?